What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Inside 11. Let's get into talking about fear, man, because fear is an emotion that a lot of the times is based on survival and not thrival. And a lot of the times when we succumb ourselves to that emotion, we go back to familiar habits, familiar people, familiar things, aka familiar reference points that give us a sense of comfortability based on that space being familiar, based on our mind being familiarized with that space for long enough. So let's say, for example, that you want to jump into something and do something you've never done before, that you have no reference point. Automatically, the mind is going to generate the response of fear, because your mind doesn't want you to go into that situation because it truly does not have a reference point, so therefore it feels unsafe. But when the mind is exposed to that new situation, it's forced to adapt quickly, because you're either going to learn to see in the dark or you're not going to see in the dark at all. One example I like to use is whenever you walk, in a dark space. Let's say you close the light in your room, your eyeballs will automatically start adjusting to the dark because now it's in the new situation. So it has to create new connections quickly so you can actually see more of the magnitude on a large percentage scale of what's going on in the darkness. Now, it's just like that with unfamiliar situation. If we actually get out of these emotions of fear, because fear is really just an emotion a lot of the times that our minds have been submerged into at an early age. On Earth, there's a lot of things, a lot of programs that ran by fear. The economy is ran by fear. People go to their jobs every day because of fear. Oh, I gotta pay my bills. I'm worried. Think about whenever you don't pay your bills on time. You get scared. You might get worried. You'll be like, oh fuck, I don't have the bill money. That's a response to a situation that says, hey, go back, don't go forward. So it's like, to go forward, it truly requires an individual that can actually process the emotional fear rather than actually try to hide away from it. Because a lot of the times, the greatest warriors, the greatest artists, the greatest writers, the greatest storytellers, they all have to go through the emotion of fear of not being seen as successful, fear of not being good enough. Even when I'm talking about these topics and stuff like that, I have to go beyond the emotion of fear. And when I jump beyond the emotion of fear, I find a new sphere. It's like you expand your awareness beyond that reference point that you thought was scary. So anytime we go through new situations and stuff like that we're not familiar with, our automatic response may be fear. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just your brain. That's the way your brain keeps you safe, aka the reptilian brain, the lower animalistic brain. The lower animalistic brain is trying to survive, aka this body. This body is trying to survive, but the spirit truly want to expand. So it's almost like, it's just like how the Bible says it. The flesh was against the spirit and the spirit was against the flesh. And the two were contrary to one another, right? Because this flesh here basically could be accustomed and adapted into like sin. Sin is just going against yourself. So whenever you go against yourself in new situations, aka you create a thought or a feeling that's a Satan, that's against the self. So let's say you want to go forward in a goal, but you create an opposition in your mind right away. You're like, no, I can't do that. No, but I don't know how. But see, you're supposed to allow yourself to expose yourself to that new situation, because that exposes you to the lack of knowledge that you have, so you can actually go get the tools that you need to get, not be ready before the situation. See, a lot of the times, these Masons that run the world, these Jews and shit like that, they prepare your mind based on the template that they've created for the world. So they tell you, you're gonna go to kindergarten, middle school, high school, and then you're gonna go to college, university. You're gonna get in depth, and then you're gonna go find a job, and then you're gonna go get married, and then you're gonna do your high school reunion, and then blah 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 blah. So someone else has given us a schedule and has given us a familiar series of set points to actually follow through in our lives. Think about how even people that drop out of high school. I'm not saying this is the case all the time, but there's a book by Robert Kiyosaki. I saw that book when I was like maybe grade 10, grade 11 or some shit like that. Anyways, but the point of the book is it talks about how A students end up working for C students, because C students leave their familiar environment of schooling, go to the unfamiliar environment of the marketplace, and they start to really see how the world works, and then they start to develop their own structure, their own system, their own business. And then you might graduate from university thinking that you top shit. You're trying to go get hard at this company. Here's the bum from high school that you thought was never going to be shit, and now it's like you're working for them. But see, it's like the situation that they created at first seemed uncomfortable to the average person, to the high schooler that would be in high school or college, they'll be like, nah, I would never do that. My mom and dad told me, like, I gotta go to school, I gotta do all these things. Like, nah, man, that's not right. AKA, they feel unsafe, they feel scared, they're in fear because no one told them about that reference point. When you explore reference points, AKA spaces, because when we get into the esoteric aspect of spirituality, which is spirituality in general, which is just your own individuality, how you individually conduct yourself in the world. If you don't conduct your own self in your own way, you're gonna get a religion. You're gonna get somebody outside of you telling you what to do and how to do it based on you having a lack of a reference point or a lack of discipline and stuff like that. So a lot of the times when we jump into new situations that we're unfamiliar with, once you go through that situation, it's like your brain or your mind develops a new stimuli. It's like going through that because it's really just like something that you gotta understand, that you gotta comprehend. And once you understand what's going on in that situation, really, then you're not gonna be afraid of shit. Because fear is really just trying to make you make the wrong decision that appears to be the right decision, right? Because a lot of the times the decisions we make out of fear, we think that's the right decision because it keeps us safe. But a lot of times that's the wrong decision. You should really put yourself in the most uncomfortable situations, like, not just for the sake of, like, I'm not talking about like some lay on the roads. You can do that too, but at the end of the day, even doing that, you're gonna develop new stimuli. What was weird to you before is going to be normalized, and you'll start to realize everyone is just going about their day and no one gives a fuck. People will just take a picture of you and be like, ha ha ha, whatever, and then everyone will just forget you later. So it's like you can make a mistake, you can go in unfamiliar situations, and even if you make a mistake, have some grace on yourself so you can move on from that. But if we don't actually face our fears directly, we'll never be like the people that people want to follow. Because think about it, I'm not talking about you should have followers or anything like that. Who gives a fuck? But the thing is, when you have a higher spiritual awareness, automatically you're going to be attracting people for just whatever it is that they see you for, whatever it is that you're a portal to expand upon in the world, whatever it is that you're showing them through your light and stuff like that. Because just when you're a charismatic individual, man or woman, it doesn't matter. People will be attracted to you because it's just your light. Your awareness is sending out a different wave, frequency, vibration, and shit like that. And most people have the frequency vibration of fear, worry, doubt. So what you think gonna happen when they see a confident person, a person who does not let fear get to them, or at least doesn't let other people see them sweat? You know what I'm saying? These are like higher minds. These are like higher mental vehicles to travel the world through. And when you do that, you'll get the promotion at the job. You'll get all the things that you thought you needed to go through some type of shadow garment system to get. You'll get it in your own way though. That's the thing. But see, if we allow fear to stop us, the experience, the emotion of fear, because fear is really excitement. It's really like, you gotta look at it differently. It's not a scary situation. It's not a fearful situation. It's really an exciting situation because you're jumping into something you've never done before, and now you're gonna have to figure out what the fuck to do with this situation. And really, honestly, a lot of the times people have like logical structures. Like I said earlier, people have their whole lives built up for them. When you have these logical structures on your mind, you're truly just boxing out reality and telling yourself, okay, reality can only play out this way. So I gotta go get this job, I gotta go to college. You're telling yourself, I can only be successful if I play out the timeline that my high school teacher or my middle school teacher or my mom and dad gave me. But you gotta understand that there's timelines and existences you can play outside of that, and you can become way more than that person. It's crazy. Because remember, everybody in angels walk backwards, humans walk forward. Let me read that again. Humans think they're walking forward, but they're not. They're walking backwards. Because think about it. People get these jobs, then they're depressed. A lot of these people even quit these corporate jobs out of like some mental stress because it really destroyed their life. It didn't really help them. A lot of these corporate jobs will destroy your marriage. A lot of these corporate jobs will just destroy what really matters. Because even the idea of being at work is dumb. Like, every company will tell you, oh, we're your family. That's some witchcraft. So they took the 4th house of Cancer, home, family, and comfortability, and switched it around with the 10th house of, goddammit, status, Capricorn, and shit like that. And they flipped it around. So they made you feel comfortable at home, at work, like that's your family, to the point that people at work actually become your family, literally, and they advertise that as a strong point. But if you're spiritually aware, you know these niggas ain't shit, and they just marketing some bullshit to you based on the Masonic template. And then, so they put you at work where you feel like you're supposed to be at home, but you know you're not, because you see them the most. Because again, like, they just switched it around. A lot of companies have this. Oh, We are family. We're brothers and sisters here. Everybody loves each other. That's just doo-doo. Don't ever believe that shit. People at work are not your friends. Don't ever get that shit twisted. They are not your friends. Only you could be your best friend and shit like that, right? So yeah. And they make you bring work with you to home. So by the time you leave work, you brought work with you home and shit like that. Like, and you think about, oh, what you gotta do tomorrow, what's going on with work, oh, what you gotta do. Man, that's fucked up. They got people switched up. So at work, people are having their summer while it's really winter. And then at home, people are having their winter, but it's really supposed to be spring, summer type shit. So it's like they got the whole thing backwardly switched. And I have a video on that way back. It was called something I forgot, man. I forgot, but I might link it in the bottom, but probably not. But yeah, I talked about that before. I talked about how they put you in this bipolar control grid system, but it wasn't even that video. It was another video. I was talking about how they switch spring and summer around and make you feel old while you're young and make you feel young while you're old and all types of shit. It's like, it's really just reverse shit. Like, it's not deep, but it is deep because, like I said, the average person does not understand the occult world. The average person doesn't understand how the Masons, how the Jews built this world. The average person only understands this physical template of the world. So the average person only understands what the cross means. Oh, that means God. That means Jesus. That means authority. That has nothing to do with God. That's them projecting their authority onto others and shit like that. So yeah, with that being said, man, always go through fears and shit like that. Fuck fear. Fuck that emotion. It don't help you evolve or anything like that. So it just keeps you at the same level where you are at. So when you evolve, you start to see, damn, it's really not bad. So up here, it's not bad being a hawk in the sky. It's not. I don't want to be a pigeon no more on the ground. You know what I'm saying? That's why. So I always used to say back in the day, God damn it, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. If you can see a little bit more than what's going on, if you're not afraid, and everyone around you is afraid, the people around you are trying to make you afraid, and you're not afraid, then God damn it, you're gonna become somebody that they want to learn from, consciously or subconsciously, whether they know it or not, whether they hate you or love you, because now you've set up an example on how to go beyond that emotion in your own way. So you become a unique individual in your own way. Real fucking stuff. Fuck fear.